Most people think ceiling speakers are nice and simple. You cut a hole, drop them in, and job done. But in reality, a few key decisions can completely change how they perform. Install the wrong type and you'll only hear half the music. Choose the wrong size and it might not fit in your ceiling. Space them badly and the sound can feel disconnected across the room. So before you go ahead and cut anything, let's break down how ceiling speakers actually work and what you need to get it right. Now this video is part one of a brand new 3-part series. So in today's video, we're covering the fundamentals of ceiling speakers. In part 2, we'll help you choose the right speakers and system. And finally, in part 3, we'll cover the most common mistakes we see when people install them. So by the end of this series, you'll know exactly how to design a ceiling speaker setup properly, not just install one. And if this kind of practical advice is helpful, then please make sure that you guys are subscribed. It helps us keep making more content like this. And of course, you obviously don't want to miss the rest of this series. Now, before we get into how ceiling speakers actually work, let's answer the big question. Are ceiling speakers actually right for your home? Now, one of the main reasons why people choose ceiling speakers is because they disappear. Once installed, all you see is a slim grille in the ceiling. Out of sight, out of mind. So if you like a clean, minimal look, then that's a big win. Now they do also come with a clean white grille, but you can also spray paint them to match your ceiling, but just make sure you are using the right type of paint. Secondly, they free up space. There's no speakers taking up floor space or space on shelves, and there's no worry about children or pets knocking them over. Generally, you also have a lot more flexibility in terms of placement in the ceiling rather than you would on the floor where you have all of your furniture. And thirdly, they fill a room evenly. If spec'd right, they disperse sound across a space rather than firing it from one direction, so you get less of a sweet spot. For background music, for entertaining, for family life, they're a great choice, but they won't be right for everyone. First and foremost, if you're renovating after everything's already plastered and painted, then installation does become a lot more complicated. It's not impossible, but definitely not a simple add-on. And once you cut the hole, you are committed. Secondly, if you're chasing ultra-focused stereo imaging or that cinematic impact, then you'll probably get a better experience from a slightly different type of solution. Audio from overhead is a different kind of listening experience. And thirdly, they can be more expensive than you'd expect. Often people aren't aware that you also need to factor in the cost of ceiling speakers as well as an amplifier and also things like cables and fire hoods. And this is usually the point where people realize it's worth planning properly. At Smart Home Sound, we're a UK home audio retailer and we design and spec ceiling speaker systems every day, from single rooms to multi-room homes. If you're planning a project, we offer a free speaker design service, so you can send us your floor plans and we'll help you work out speaker numbers, placement, amplification and wiring. And if you're local to Cheltenham, you can pop down to our store and demo a variety of different ceiling speakers for yourself. Oh, and before I forget, we also offer a price match policy to ensure that you guys are always getting the very best deal. Okay, so how do ceiling speakers actually work? Well, at the most basic level, a ceiling speaker system has 3 key components. We've got the speakers themselves, an amplifier, and speaker cable connecting the two. Now, the amplifier is the brains of the system. It powers the speakers and sends the audio signal. Most modern systems use a streaming amplifier, meaning you control everything from your phone. And in part 2 of this series, we'll be breaking down popular systems like Sonos, Bluesound, and Weem to help you understand which ecosystem might be best for you. But that's the fundamentals. Speakers in the ceiling, powered by an amp. Now, the industry standard cable would be this, 16 gauge 2 core, and you'll need to connect up to each ceiling speaker and run the wire back to the amp. Now, where things get a little bit more complicated is with different types of ceiling speakers, because not all ceiling speakers are the same. So first up is passive versus active. Now, most ceiling speakers are passive, which means they rely on a separate amplifier to power them and speaker cable running in between. Now, this is the most common setup in proper home installations because it gives you more flexibility and it means that you can choose your amplifier separately from your speakers. And if you ever want to upgrade the amplification in the future, then you can, without changing the speakers in the ceiling. Now, if you can't run cable behind the wall and ceiling, then you'll want to look at active ceiling speakers, which have the amplifier built into the speaker itself. Now, this can simplify certain installs, especially retrofit jobs, because you don't need a separate amp or cable runs back to the amplifier. And this also helps keep the cost down too. You do still need mains power to each speaker, but installation can be simpler. Now, for most renovations or new builds, passive ceiling speakers plus a streaming amp is the more robust and more future-proof route with much more flexibility over the system. For retrofits where running cable is difficult, then active can be a good option. Next up is mono versus stereo, which is one of the biggest areas of confusion. Now, in most rooms, you'll install 2 mono ceiling speakers, which is why they're usually sold in pairs. One speaker handles the left channel and the other handles the right channel. That gives you proper stereo separation, meaning that vocals, instruments, and spatial effects feel natural and balanced across the room. Now, if you only install one mono speaker in a room, then you're only playing one channel, so you're missing half the audio. Now, it will work, but it won't sound quite right. So if you only have space for one speaker, for example, in a bathroom or a small office, then that's when you'd use what's called a single stereo ceiling speaker. A single stereo speaker has 2 tweeters built into one unit, handling both left and right channels. It's a really clever solution for smaller spaces, but, and this is important, you don't get the same physical separation as 2 speakers spaced apart in the room. So the rule of thumb, if you have space for 2 speakers, install a pair of mono speakers. If you only have space for one, then use a single stereo speaker. Our general guidance is if the space between a pair of ceiling speakers would be less than 2 meters, then you might want to consider a single stereo. Now, one extra thing to be aware of is if you space a pair of mono speakers too far apart in a large open plan room, for example, then the stereo image can start to feel disconnected. In that situation, you'd want to add another pair to distribute sound more evenly. So for a larger space or open plan area, you'll probably want to have a few pairs of ceiling speakers to give you an even dispersion of sound and help fill that space properly. It's just something that helps customers when they're in the design stage, because spacing and placement matters just as much as the speakers themselves. Next up, we're talking speaker size. Now, most ceiling speakers come in either 6-inch or 8-inch driver sizes. And when we say 6-inch or 8-inch, we're talking about the size of the driver, which is this cone here inside the speaker. We're not talking about the size of the hole in the ceiling. One of the most common mistakes we see is someone sees a 6-inch ceiling speaker, grabs a tape measure, cuts a 6-inch hole, and the speaker doesn't fit because the cutout size is always larger than the driver size. So top tip, always check the cutout diameter in the specs before you cut the holes. Now, most ceiling speakers come with a cutout template like this one here, so you can get the right size cutout. And just to clear another pretty confusing thing up, 6-inch ceiling speakers actually have 6.5-inch drivers. 8-inch have 8-inch drivers. But anyway, back to choosing the right size for you. A 6-inch ceiling speaker is the most common option. It's ideal for kitchens, for bedrooms, living rooms, and general background listening. Now, for most homes, good quality 6-inch speakers are more than enough. An 8-inch speaker moves more air, and more air means more bass presence, more output, and more scale in larger rooms. So 8-inch speakers are typically used in larger open plan spaces or areas where you want higher volume levels or better bass. But bigger doesn't automatically mean better. An 8-inch speaker needs a bigger cutout and much more ceiling depth, so that's also something to bear in mind. Now, you can get smaller driver sizes, 4 inches or even 3-inch models, but those are typically more specialist applications. For most homes, 6-inch and 8-inch are the 2 sizes that you'll realistically be choosing between. Now, another thing to consider is ceiling depth. Most ceiling speakers need around about 100mm of depth in your ceiling void, sometimes a little bit more. The Sonos 6-inch ceiling speakers, for example, require 121mm, and that's the space above the plasterboard where the speaker actually sits. So before choosing a speaker, you need to know how much space you actually have above your ceiling. In most standard homes, you should be fine, but in apartments or ceilings with shallow voids, especially where beams are involved, then depth can be limited. Now, there are slim depth ceiling speakers available where some models are designed specifically for tighter spaces, but the shallower the speaker, the more engineering is required to maintain performance. So slim models can actually end up costing more. So again, check the mounting depth in the spec sheet before ordering. Cutout diameter and mounting depth. Two numbers that matter much more than people realize. Now let's talk about directionality, because not all ceiling speakers fire straight down. Some ceiling speakers have a pivotable tweeter, and that means you can slightly angle the high frequencies toward a seating area. And since high frequencies are directional, this can help improve clarity if you're not directly underneath the speaker. But some higher end models go even further than that. Instead of just pivoting the tweeter, the entire driver assembly is angled. That means the speaker is physically designed to project sound toward a specific listening position, rather than straight down at the floor. And this is especially useful in TV setups, surround sound systems, or if you've got a vaulted ceiling, for example. Most standard ceiling speakers are open back, and that means once installed, the back of the speaker sits inside your ceiling void. Now, you can opt to add a back box, which is an enclosure that sits around the rear of the speaker. Some ceiling speakers actually come with one built in, or you can add one if you like. Now, a back box can improve consistency of sound, reduce sound leakage into rooms above, and control how the speaker behaves acoustically, rather than leaving it open in a large ceiling cavity. Now, they're not always needed in a single-story room with a decent ceiling void. Open back speakers work quite well, but in a space where sound leakage matters, then a back box can make a big difference. Fire hoods are slightly different and a much more common addition. They're designed primarily for safety and building regulations. If you're installing ceiling speakers in a room with a habitable room above, like a bedroom for example, then building regs often require you to maintain fire integrity in the ceiling. A fire hood helps contain fire spread through the speaker cutout. They're usually universal, relatively affordable, and often required in certain builds. And they do also provide the secondary benefit of reducing sound leakage. Okay, let's talk moisture. Now, if you're installing ceiling speakers in a bathroom, for example, then IP rating really does matter, as it tells you how resistant the speaker is to water, to steam and dust. Now, in most standard rooms like kitchens, living rooms, bedrooms, then you really don't need to worry about it. But in bathrooms, this is super important. If the speaker will be in a space with steam and humidity, then you'll want something with at least an IP44 rating. If the speaker will be inside a shower enclosure or directly above a bath or in an outdoor area, then you'll want to step up to an IP65 model to be fully sealed against water ingress. So hopefully by now you understand the different types of ceiling speakers and the key decisions that affect performance and installation. But just before we finish, it is worth touching briefly on installation. Ceiling speakers are much easier to install when they're planned early in a renovation or new build, especially while the ceiling void is still accessible. Running cable and positioning speakers is straightforward at that stage. If everything is already plastered and painted, then it's still possible, but it does become more complicated and sometimes more expensive. And as we mentioned earlier in this video, always double check the cutout diameter and mounting depth in the specifications. Measure twice, cut once. It sounds obvious, but this is where the most costly mistakes happen. So that's Ceiling Speakers 101. You now understand how they work, the different types available, and the key things that you need to think about before installing them. Now, in the next episode, we're going to move from understanding ceiling speakers to actually choosing the right ones. We'll look at how to decide which models suit different rooms, how many you realistically need, and which amplifier systems, whether that's Sonos, Blue Sound or Weem or something else, might be the best fit for your home. If you're planning a project, then that's where the decisions really start to take shape. Now, make sure you guys are subscribed so you don't miss it. And if you are already at the planning stage, then remember we do offer a free speaker design service. Simply send us your floor plans and we'll help you work out the right setup for your space. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see all of you in part 2.